That's a cut.
In the past few years, many disturbing events that have transpired during the production of various beloved children's TV programs, like Drake and Josh, iCarly, Zoe 101, and Victorious, have come to light. This is in large part due to the docuseries from Investigation Discovery called Quiet on Set, which was released just last month and details the horrific as well as the toxic culture built around the various Nickelodeon shows that a lot of us, myself included, grew up watching.
Stop laughing at the director. Show some respect, Jeanette. Respect. No smiling.
Allegations of verbal abuse of staff, harassment, SA, and possession of CP were all brought up in the documentary, but today's video will be highlighting the convicted child predators who were employed by Nickelodeon. Viewer discretion is advised. Despite his 2003 conviction of committing lewd acts with a child under 14 and being labeled as a registered sex offender, Ezeel Channel had the opportunity to work at Nickelodeon just a couple of years later as an animation production assistant. By practically having a fresh start at life considering his circumstances, you would think that Ezeel could keep himself out of trouble with the law and children for his future's sake. Instead, he was once again convicted of inappropriately touching a 14-year-old and showing him harmful material in the form of adult content. As the saying goes, those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it. Responsible for escorting young actors around the set, Jason Handy was yet another production assistant for Nickelodeon and a volunteer at a Malibu church. Very charming and very charismatic was how he was described by the mother of a child actor who worked with Jason. Little did they know what kind of nefarious person he was at that time, as police eventually received a tip about Jason having inappropriate material at his residence, which, in hindsight, was quite the understatement. Jason Handy had over 10,000 pictures of children, with 1,700 images of children in compromised positions, and 7 videos of kids engaged in sexual acts. In their investigation, police also found Jason's personal diary, in which he wrote entries like, "I am a pedophile, full blown. I really have been giving into my desire for little girls these past few weeks, and I even struggle on a day-to-day basis with how I can find a victim to rape if I have to." With convictions that consisted of committing lewd acts on a child and distributing sexually explicit material by email, Jason Handy received a grand total of 6 years in prison. After his release, Jason was reconvicted for committing indecent liberties with a child and sex offender registry violations, netting him a 24-year prison sentence. Last but not least, in the Nickelodeon rabbit hole, we have Brian Peck, who capitalized on his role as a Nickelodeon dialogue coach to take advantage of minors. The case took place in 2004, in which the victim that Brian Peck sexually assaulted was a minor, whose identity remained anonymous at that time. It's now been revealed that the victim was none other than Drake Bell, the co-star in Nickelodeon's hit TV show Drake and Josh, one of my all-time favorites growing up. Brian was convicted of committing oral copulation and lewd acts with the minor, resulting in 16 months of incarceration. Brian didn't struggle to find employment as a registered sex offender after serving his sentence, however, as he worked on the Disney show, specifically the TV program The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. On this note, I would like to point out that although Nickelodeon has now been put under the spotlight for the mistreatment of child actors, there's no telling how widespread this issue is among other children's television networks like Disney or Family Channel. What we can hope for is a greater awareness of these issues, so there's more emphasis placed on protecting child actors from exploitation and harm. This could be through enforcing stricter rules and regulations on children television networks by issuing thorough background checks on all staff to ensure there's no history of sex offenses being committed.
And I will forever have the memory of the person you're defending violating me and doing unspeakable acts and crimes. And that's what I'll remember.